Good afternoon, and thanks for joining me here for our last session together, at least as far as this series go. Week 5, Dilbeck, Real Living Market Advantage, and today we're going to sort of explore the cumulative knowledge that we've garnered through these 5 weeks, and think a little bit more outside the box. And I'm sure you're getting tired of that outside the box, because I'm getting tired of saying, but I can't come up with anything better for that one. So today's going to be, again, sort of the pinnacle of what we have learned and what we can do moving forward. I think it's kind of a cool lesson today, because what I want you to do is to be able to walk away with not necessarily a new skill today as far as Market Advantage, but hopefully a new idea. And the lion's share of what we're going to talk about today is again, thinking a little bit outside of our norm as far as lead sources. And this has been one of my favorite sessions to do, this fifth part, and I think it's a kind of a cool concept, whether you're brand new in this business, which most of you are not. Some of the franchises that I work with and train, obviously a lot of folks are brand new. But so whether you're brand new or you're multi-year experienced and you've seen the highs and the lows and peaks and valleys of this business, I think that sometimes it bears examining just to look at where your business is coming from and maybe adding new sources of that as times change and people change and the market changes. So that being said, we still got people clicking on here, so we'll get started in just a minute. Remember, we are recording these sessions, so they are available for you to review. Amanda has been doing a really nice job of following up for me, sending out emails to all of you for the weeks that you've attended. This last follow-up will have, again, links to all 5 of the sessions, so you can review those at will. If there were folks that you know that they weren't able to make a session or two or miss the series entirely, feel free to share those links with them, because it can't do anything but help to get the brand out there and the Dilbeck real estate branding as well. So looks like everybody's just about here. We'll go ahead and get started. That's really my only housekeeping, as it is every week, just kind of reminding you that these sessions are recorded. You can review them. And the only other thing I'll touch on, as I do every week, is just make sure your profile is correct. If by some chance this is your first time here, your profile is really important, so make sure all this is right, because all of this information populates for you on anything you send out. So just make sure it's right, and make sure that this is the right Dilbeck logo when you're logging in and those kind of things, and let somebody know if it's not. Those of you who have been with me all 5 weeks, you're probably tired of hearing me say that, but I bet your profiles are all correct by now. So I think it's worth repeating. And just remember, if you do have changes, you can always go in and change this stuff yourself whenever you want to. If you have a new designation or you want to put your license number in there, which of course you're required to have in California there. So that being said, we'll go ahead and move on and sort of get started. I told you we're going to be a little bit different today, not really learning anything new as far as new products, editing, or any tricks or anything like that. Just kind of thinking a little bit outside the box and looking at new scenarios for capturing some new business. Traditional lead sources, and again, most of you are experienced realtors, so I'm preaching to the choir on this stuff a little bit, but in the ideas that I'm going to present today, you may or may not directly agree with. You might say, "Oh, John, your scenario is suspect," but it did make me think, and this is what I'm hoping. It did make me think about different ways that I can generate some more business. So if you're an agent that has, you're doing a solid 6 transactions a month and everything's good and you're going along fine, you got there and you are maintaining that pace because you're continuing to market yourself, you're continuing to fill your pipeline. And if you are a super producer, and you're still going to have those months where you may never have a month where you don't have a closing, but you may go from 20 transactions in your team down to 4, 1 month. And we're going to try to help you bridge that gap and not let that occur as often. So my idea today is to build a business-to-business email campaign. Now, the lion's share of what we're going to talk about today is accomplished, at least in its easiest format, in the upgraded product. But everything that we talk about will apply. So even though you won't necessarily be able to create and save a unique email campaign if you're not in the upgraded packages, it doesn't mean the ideas still don't apply, and you can't just do it manually yourself, and I really think you should. Again, I'm not here to promote or to push you to do the upgraded product, but there are some cool things that are available to you in that, as we explored last week. So if you weren't here last week, don't fret about that. You can follow up on that. And as I refer to some of these things that only exist in the upgraded product, please don't feel like you're being sold on that, because you're not. You can accomplish what we're trying to do simply by using the essential product as well. It's a little bit more manual for you in that situation. So bear with me here a little bit. What I want you to think about in your day-to-day life is the other businesses that you come across. Now, I think initially when we're talking about your marketing, you think of the traditional other business lead sources that you might be getting referrals and trading business with now, and that's your lenders, and even your title reps are probably funneling you some business, and some of you will work with attorneys and estate planners and those kind of things, just depending on how what kind of business you're doing. But think of the businesses that you come in contact with every day, just on, as a matter of course, getting around town. And some of them will apply and some of them will not. So, I think of the gas station, I stop at. I go to Costco to get my gas, and I stop there, unfortunately, 2-3 times a week to fill up my car. Costco's not really a viable place for me to be doing any exchange business with, but that's the way I want you to start thinking. So think about those little errands that you do. Dry cleaners, the orthodontist office, the people that you see at your kids' school functions, those kind of things. Those are all business professionals as well. And I think most of those, that last part there, are all viable for my scenario here today. So I'm going to go with the dry cleaner scenario and just kind of paint you a picture here. And again, I understand that this is not necessarily going to be a 100% fit for everybody, but I hope that you can walk away from it and say, you know what, John, that was not for me, but it's an idea that I can grow on, that I can build on myself and take somewhere else. So in my scenario, I go into the dry cleaners again at least once a week. I know the guy fairly well. His name is Al. He does a pretty good business in a neighborhood that I farm called Bonnie Bray. So, and he knows what I do for a living. He knows I'm a realtor. He knows that I assume, and here's where you need to start getting defined. I assume that he knows I do business in the same sort of market that he does. The truth is I do. And the double truth is he probably doesn't know that. Number one, he knows I'm a realtor because it bodes well for him to remember, hey, John, it's nice to see you again. How's the market? That kind of thing, right? It's good for his business, his direct business with me. So what I want you to do is think a little bit, how can I do business now with Al? With that scenario that I just painted for you. So what I want to do is make sure that Al understands that I believe anyway that we service a similar customer, a similar market in that Bonnie Bray area. I want him to know that I've worked in Bonnie Bray for 15 years, that I specialize in this area in listings over 600,000, and that I've been the Bonnie Bray expert, for lack of a better term, for those last 10, 15 years. And that's the kind of market that I want, and that's the kind of business that I would prefer to be referred. Maybe I'm to a stage in my career where, your cousin's condo across town, I really don't have to take that listing any longer. And I know in these tough times that's not as likely of a scenario, but I think you know what I'm saying. You know what your niche is. You know what your market is. So in my scenario, pretend Al is your dry cleaner, right? And pretend he lives in that neighborhood that you're marketing to. See if you can't work this together the way I'm proposing it. So first and foremost, I want to have this open dialogue with Al, and I want to make sure that he understands where I'm coming from as far as my business. Conversely, I want to understand where he's coming from with his business. And again, because we share that same bucket of potential customers, we ought to know a lot about each other. And there's a lot of different ways that we can work together if it makes sense, right? And again, if you're thinking about your dry cleaner and you're thinking, my goodness, there's no way I ever want to be associated with that guy, that's fine. Take this and plop it on top of somebody that you do see benefit from. So, but back to my scenario, there's a couple of ways I want to go about it. First of all, I want to market myself to Al. I want to express to him, hey, I think it'd be a good idea for us to work together. Here's what I like to do. Tell me about your business and what you like to do and what your target customer is, who your who your golden goose customer is that you would love to see coming through your door as a new customer on a regular basis, right? So if you think about that scenario a little bit and play a little scenario out, even with Al, say, you know what, tomorrow you might have a new customer coming through your door that just moved here from Cleveland, right? They're relocating, they're going to be in the neighborhood here, and they're going to be looking for property. So I would love it, Al, if you think enough of me to say, you know what, your guy should be John Jones. Here's what I know about him. He's been the specialist in this area for 10, 15 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And then I would expect that Al would expect that you can return that favor, right? So you want to be able to market to Al and create some of those things. So the first scenario there is marketing directly to Al. And I'm going to go a step farther. I'm going to say I want you to sit down when you've got time and think about not just Al, but the orthodontist and the veterinarian, anybody else there that you think you can put in this sort of campaign to say, hey, look, I'm the realtor in Bonnie Bray. I want you to feel comfortable with me and confident in referring me out to your friends, colleagues, new business associates, those kind of things, and maybe we can work together that way. So let's go about putting together pieces for that. And again, we've seen the editor. We know what we can do with that. But I just want you to think a little bit outside the box on this first part of this scenario, and that is going to be marketing to these businesses. So the first thing I want to do, and just to save myself time, rather than look through the flyers and the postcards, I'm going to type in the word referral and see what kind of returns I get. So I'm going to click that in, and I'm going to get a lot of different choices here. So I've got postcards, and I've got folded greeting cards, and more postcards and those kind of things. But what I want you to do is pick a piece that works for what you're trying to accomplish. I'm going to go on and look through the pages while I keep talking about it. You want to find something that is going to appeal to these people so that you can explain what you're trying to accomplish. And again, I'm really not trying to be, what's the word? A lot of this is common sense stuff, and I don't mean to be overly simplistic on a lot of this. I just want to go through the steps so that you feel comfortable finding something that you're looking forward to. So maybe even something like this, referrals are appreciated. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to pull that in. Now, this is a jumbo postcard. You may have noticed that you saw this in several different places. That's because this particular theme is available as a jumbo postcard, as a folded greeting card, those kind of things. But we're going to pull this one into the editor. And while we're talking about these marketing pieces, I want you to remember that especially in this scenario, there's going to be no replacement for that face-to-face meeting, right? 10 years ago, we were all expected to disappear because of, everything was going to take place over the web, and they're not going to need realtors anymore, and all the contracts and everything, people will just go online, they'll buy their house, the papers will come to them in the mail, and they'll be done. We haven't gotten there, right? And that's because this is a people business. And when it comes down to what we're talking about today, which is the business of doing business, I really feel it's doubly so. So before I ever send out something like this to Al, my dry cleaner, I want to make sure I've had that initial conversation with him beforehand so that there's no miscommunication, so that there's no presumptuous feelings there. But once I've had that conversation, even if it's just putting a little bug in Al's ear, hey, maybe we should work together because it sounds like we're a good fit, then I can start building pieces like this to enroll Al in that kind of scenario. So again, here's the front of this postcard, and this is just a ready-to-go piece. Referrals are appreciated. Please let me know if anyone comes to mind in the near future. On the back of this is where I want to put a custom greeting, right? And again, we know about all of this. We know about all the branding and all that good stuff that comes along with all these marketing pieces. But here in the custom greeting box, remember your audience, and I think it's probably a different audience than we're used to marketing to. You're marketing to another business professional asking for referrals sort of outside of their business, and vice versa. You're going to return that favor in kind. So here you're just going to write a little paragraph or a little story, if you will, about how referrals are important to both of you and how you feel like it might be a good fit for you to work together. And maybe you do some co-branded marketing. Maybe you just get to know each other better and make sure that when someone needs a dry cleaner, I'm sending them your way. And when someone needs a CMA or is talking about looking at property, or their mother is looking to downsize, that you feel comfortable sending me out. So again, don't go to this step until you've had that initial conversation. But remember, you can create these kind of pieces. I'm going to save this piece. Have that conversation. Have these pieces built so that you can create that that kind of campaign to go out to these people. So I'm going to call this one Referral 3, and I think I've got a couple saved already, and that's why I'm saying Referral 3. So I'm going to save that piece, and we'll have that available, and we're ready now to start marketing to these small businesses. Now, it can be as easy as just printing off a few of these cards, carrying them around in my briefcase with me, and next time I go in and see Al, I can pull one out and walk it in and give it to him. Or I can create a campaign where I have these going out automatically via email. Of course, I would want to pick an email piece, or a direct mail campaign to these people. And it doesn't have to be just Al. I can do the same scenario when I walk in and have the conversation with my orthodontist, and Bill, who runs the construction company, but also our kids play soccer together, those kind of things. So let's go now back to the marketing piece that we just created. So I clicked on my saved pieces, and let me know if I'm jumping around too much, all right? Because I'm talking more about the concept today than the actual work involved here. So we've got one there that I built last week, and then I've got these greeting postcards print that I built here as well. So let me show these to you. This is the one you and I just built. Here's the second piece. I'm just going to pull this up in sort of a preview format. This will take a minute to build because it's the actual print preview, so it's going to create that high-quality PDF. And again, I was trying to avoid a lot of this stuff where we're working in the editor this week because you guys have seen this already, but I want you to see these pieces so that you get the idea of the campaign that I'm putting together. So what I want to do is take these print pieces, okay? And this is just another referral piece that I had built before. That's the front of it. In fact, I think we built this together last week. Okay, I'm asking for the referral. What can I do for you? This is another one of my sample paragraphs. You're going to be much more detailed about who you are, what you do for a living, where you specialize, what your dream referral is, right? Again, in my case, I love working in Bonnie Bray. I specialize in homes over 600,000. I've been here for 15 years, etc. So you're going to paint that picture there. So that's what that looks like there. So that's a couple pieces. I'm just going to close this preview. And we'll go back now. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's the piece we just built a minute ago. Here's the piece I just showed you. I'm going to start building a campaign. So I'm going to select this first piece, and I'm going to add this to a campaign. And we're okay with that. It's a direct mail piece. We're going to leave it called Referral 3 for now. You might choose to rename these, but for now, I'm going to create a campaign. Now remember, in this case, because I'm choosing printed pieces, this has to be a direct mail campaign. But you could just as easily create an email campaign if you have email addresses for these folks, and you're not paying to print, you're not paying to put postage, and those kind of things on here. We're going to call this campaign, and I'm going to call this Bonnie Bray Business Referral. This is just for me. It's just the name of my campaign. This is my first piece that I chose, and I want this to go out 7 days after I add somebody to it. Okay, so I'm good with that. It has to be direct mail because that's the only way that this particular piece can be distributed. And now I'm going to add another piece. So I'm going to go back now to the marketing materials tree, and I'm going to go back to greeting postcards print, and we're going to grab that second piece. Oops, I need to go to save pieces, sorry. We're going to grab that second card that we looked at, and we're going to add that to the campaign as well. Add to campaign. So here's our first piece. There's our second piece. And again, because of the type of material that I used to save this one could actually be an email piece. But to stay consistent and to hopefully avoid confusion, I'm going to stick with direct mail on this second piece as well. And I want this one to go out. You know what, I'm going to keep it consistent at a week. I'm going to send this one 7 days after that. And let's go out and we'll grab a third piece that I had built and saved before. And this one was under postcards. Oops, saved pieces, postcards. And this is actually one that I had built, and it has a dry cleaning coupon on it. All right, so I'm going to add this to the campaign as well. And the idea there is, hey, I'm getting to piece number 3. I'm going to send this one out, and I'm going to say, look, I can include a coupon even on pieces that you and I build and send out together. Now, again, I know this concept is nothing new to you guys, and this has all been done before. And depending on where you are and what your neighborhood's like and the business you're trying to do, this is either a really cool idea or it's really passé. I get that. I just want you to think about the ideas here. So here's my campaign. Piece number 1. Well, actually, piece number 1 is that conversation, right? That hey, maybe we can work together. And then I'm going to add these people. I'm going to take their business card. I'm going to add them to a direct mail campaign. And 7 days after I add their name to it, they're going to get this piece. Hey, I think maybe we can work together. Here's what I do. I think we'd be a good fit for referrals. Piece number 2 is going to go to them 7 days after that one. And then piece number 3, in this case, and it really doesn't matter what it is, but in this case I've done sort of a mock-up saying, hey, here's an idea. And this can be a very generic piece, you know, if you are sending this to everybody, to the dry cleaner, to the orthodontist. Hey, maybe you guys want to do some co-branded marketing together. Here's a scenario for that. So I've created these 3 different pieces. I've put them in a campaign. And by the way, I can change the delivery order or change them all to direct mail, which they already are, or change them all to email, which I actually can't do because only one of them is available for that. But I'm good with this. So I'm going to save that delivery option. Now, what I just did was build a custom campaign. And if you remember from last week, that's something I can do because I have the upgraded product now. If you don't have the upgraded product, you can still build these pieces, but go to your calendar and say, hey, on 7 days from today, I'm going to deliver this card to my new lead sources. And then 7 days later, put in the calendar, hey, print this one and deliver this one. So you can still accomplish this. And you know, whether you're going to mail those yourself or you're going to hand deliver them, it can still be done. It's just that you can do it in an automated fashion when you build them as a campaign, as we've done here. All right, so the next step, we've built this campaign and saved it. The next step is, well, who are we going to send this to, right? And in this case, I haven't added Al here, but I am going to add Sally Smith. I think Sally's the only one I actually have a physical address for. So we're going to pretend that Sally Smith is Al, my dry cleaner, and I'm going to add him to the campaign. So it's going to check now to see if I'm right, see if Sally has an address. And she does. So for all 3 of these pieces to be sent out, it looks like it's going to cost me $2.13 to add this person to this campaign. So I'm going to add her to the campaign. We're going to pretend that's Al, my dry cleaner, okay? And then we are ready to go. So we'll go back to the campaign page and we'll find our campaign. By the way, here's my email notification that the campaign just went up. Here's a warning that's coming up to me. It's going to say, hey, to activate this campaign, you have to set up a billing profile. And that's because I'm building a direct mail campaign. So we're going to go back. We're going to skip that part for now. What that is you set up basically a draw account off of your credit card, so that when it's time to print those postcards and mail them, it will go ahead and do that and print them, and it just debits that account. So here's our campaign that we just built, right? Bonnie Bray Business Referral. I've put one person, one contact in there. We're going to pretend that it was Al, our dry cleaner. So if I do nothing else from this point on, starting on the 24th, Al's going to get that first postcard from me. And hopefully, again, I've had that conversation and that first piece comes to him, and it's just a reminder, hey, John talked about doing these referrals. This is a pretty good looking marketing piece. Maybe I should be working with this guy and sending out some pieces together, those kind of things. And then, again, through this sequence, we know that we made them all a week apart. So really, over the next 3 weeks, if I do nothing else, Al's going to receive those pieces from me in the mail. And each time that one of those prints and mails, I'm going to get billed just for the postage in this case of printing one postcard, putting postage on it, and mailing it to that referral source. So pretty good, pretty cool thing to do, I think, to sort of make things easier for you in an automated fashion. I do see a question, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that because I believe it pertains to this direct mail campaign. Here's the question. On direct mail campaign, how do the elements go out? For instance, do they get the piece 7 days after you add them to the campaign, or does the piece get printed and sent 7 days after you add the contact to the campaign? Great question. And in this case, it is a direct mail campaign, so that person, and you have to, if you're going to do direct mail, as we did here, I made this 7 days intentionally because otherwise I would have gotten a warning. It has to be 7 days because that is the target date for the recipient to get that piece. So in the printed campaign, to answer your question directly, the days that are listed there for a direct mail campaign are the actual target delivery date. So if you're going to create a direct mail campaign, you need to have at least 7 days leeway on that first piece, so that the piece can be printed, addressed, put on first-class postage, and then mailed out. All right, and depending on where you are in the country, it's going to stagger that. So you're going to be in good shape, and that's why there's that minimum 7-day window on that first piece when you're first setting up a campaign. And that 7-day clock starts the minute that I add that first contact to that campaign. By the way, if I'm 2 weeks into this and I add my orthodontist to it, 7 days later the orthodontist is getting piece number 1, and then a week later he will get piece number 2. So every contact is on a completely separate schedule so that they always get the benefit of your full campaign. That's just the way that works. If it happens to be a campaign where you set specific dates, or for example holidays, or for whatever reason you have chosen a specific delivery date as opposed to 7 days between or 10 days between, if you choose specific dates, I want this piece to go out on 11/15 and the second piece to go out on 12/3, in that case, then wherever you add people to the campaign, they will simply benefit from what the remainder of the campaign, if that makes sense. They're not going to receive the pieces that went out previously. So that's a direct mail campaign that we set up. We could just as easily have created that piece from email templates and created an email campaign and let that run for us as well. And you can even do that without the fully automated version of the campaign, and just send, go ahead and create those pieces and then email them again on your own schedule if you're not in the upgraded product. So it's a good way to look at things like that, and I think it's an easy way to do that. Now, by the way, all right, so this campaign is off to the races and it's running, all right? Bonnie Bray Business Referral. Let's say I get a new contact, right, and they I add them into the business center and they become a new contact in my MarketAdvantage account, like Frank Tuttle here. Let me open up Frank. And I don't have an address for Frank yet. I'm going to go ahead and add that address so we can add him to the campaign. And I'm just doing this not to show you how to add an address, but to show you how to add him to a campaign. So let me put this in really quickly. All right, so I'm going to save that now. So Frank Tuttle is let's say Frank is my orthodontist, right? He's already in the Bonnie Bray group because that's where I added him. But I want to add him to that campaign now. So I do have an address for Frank. I've got his contact up. I'm going to come over to the right hand of the screen, and I'm going to add him to a campaign. When I click on that, it's going to show me all of the campaigns that I have built. I simply need to choose the one that I want, Bonnie Bray Business Referral, and hit Submit. And hopefully it's going to do that check now to make sure that Frank has an address, because again, direct mail campaign, we need to make sure if I add him, it's going to cost me $2.13 for him to get all 3 pieces. I will approve that, and I'm going to add him to the campaign, and he's been successfully added. So now if we go back out to the left-hand border here, click on the campaign button, go to the campaign for Bonnie Bray Business Referral, you can see now that there are 2 contacts there. By the way, you can change the aspects of the campaign by also clicking on the campaign itself, right? So I could add contacts here as well. I could change pieces, those kind of things. I could even duplicate this campaign if I wanted to. Once this runs too, by the way, I can look at all the reporting and all those kind of things. So here's the first piece. Again, once this goes out, it will show the delivery date, how many were sent, and the total, and those kind of things of each piece. This is a direct mail campaign. If it's an email campaign, you'll even be able to see open rates, what time they opened it, those kind of things. So it's really kind of cool to be able to do that as well. And I know we kind of reviewed that when we looked at campaigns last week, but I think it's a cool way to do what our scenario is that we painted today. Go think about who your businesses are, the people that you interact with on a daily basis that know you, know what you do for a living, but you don't really get referrals from them. Well, maybe you need to ask, right? And obviously you want to be able to give something in return to them. So the next part of that would be, all right, so Al bites. And Al says, you know what, John? I have seen you around the neighborhood. I'd love to be associated with you. I'd love to split some marketing costs with you. What can we do? What can we build together and send out on both of our behalves? And in that case, you can just come into MarketAdvantage and really create whatever you want to that suits your needs. So maybe you and Al decide, hey, let's send out a postcard together. The postcard will highlight how I'm the neighborhood expert for real estate, and I'm offering this coupon, right, to go see Al's Bonnie Bray Dry Cleaners. So in this scenario, I'm just going to grab, heck, even just a just listed postcard that I like the looks of, and we won't use it for a just listed. We'll use it for marketing. So fall is here, but that's the one I already built. So I'm going to grab something a little different. All right, let's do cherry blossoms. So I'm going to grab that one, and I'm going to pull this into the editor. And again, this isn't, today's lesson is really not about all the editing, but I do want you to I want you to see how quickly I can build something for Al and I to kind of market ourselves, right? So we're going to start editing. And again, remember, there are 3,000 pieces in here. You'll be able to find something that you like that fits the bill. So in my scenario, maybe I'm going to be promoting a business of the month, right, in Bonnie Bray. So I'm going to call this postcard the Bonnie Bray Business of the Month. And I understand it's not fitting in there. We're going to fix that. So my Bonnie Bray Business of the Month, and the font is way too big, right? So I'm going to highlight all that, and I'm just going to bring that down to something more manageable, like 18. And then I'm going to center justify that, and maybe bring that text box. My text box grew way up, so it's covering. So let me just shrink that up. I know this stuff is tedious and boring. I'm sorry. All right, so here's my card, Bonnie Bray Business of the Month. Let's get rid of this. 280, gone. I'm going to click on this text box, gone. Let's bring in a coupon for Al's Dry Cleaner, right? So I'm going to bring in an image. So I'm going to click on Add Image. I'm just going to bring this down. And then I'm going to bring in a coupon here. I'm going to click on Replace Image. Now, I've already uploaded this dry cleaning coupon here once before. All I did was browse out into my computer where I had saved the file. So Al's going to have to come up with his own coupon, right? He sends you the file, you upload it as an image, and you use it right here. So there's Al's dry cleaning coupon, right? You might want to, put a white box behind that or something to make it fit better, make it show up better, make it pop. Now, all right, so Bonnie Ray Business of the Month. And then maybe I add a text box. In fact, I'm just going to drag this one over here. And I'm going to write a little blurb, or Al's going to give me copy. Here's, Al's Bonnie Bray Dry Cleaning has been in business since 1984, serving you blah, 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 right? So we save that info there. And then the rest of this, I do whatever I want. Maybe it's, and again, I understand I'm preaching to the crowd here. You guys have probably done this kind of thing before. I just want to shake up your memory a little bit. Presented by John Jones, your Bonnie Bray expert, whatever that is, right? You're going to write something that's prettier than that. And then you get tagged for that there as well. And then maybe there's a picture of your real estate office here. Maybe it's a picture of just listed in the neighborhood, that kind of stuff, right? So again, it's John Jones highlighting Bonnie Bray Business of the Month. Here's Al's Dry Cleaner. Here's a coupon that I'm giving you. I'm going to mail this to you. The back of the postcard's my standard stuff, right? It's got all my branding on it. So I look like the good guy. Al gets a little bit of advertising out of it, if nothing else, right? He's splitting the cost with you more than likely. So I hope you see how quickly and easily you can put something like this into action. Now, if you never are going to be associated with the dry cleaner in your neighborhood, no big deal. Maybe you can think of something that's a little more appropriate for what you're trying to accomplish. I think, and at least here, and again, I don't know what's going on with you guys directly out in your market. This kind of stuff is coming back here in Denver. And if that doesn't fit for you there, I get that. And you need to find something else that you want to do that's really going to, that's really you offering a value-added service for people. But this kind of stuff, the couponing, is coming back full force. So if you can offer people a deal, the key is you want to remember that you're associated with, they got this deal because of you, all right? So think about that when you build your pieces. But we can save this piece now. I'm going to save it. And the nice thing about this is I'm going to call this Al's Cleaners co-brand. The nice thing about this particular piece that I picked is that this one can be emailed. It can be printed. It can be printed and delivered. It can be posted online. So a lot of good ways to do that as well once you've built the piece and saved it. So, oops, I meant to just say, let's go. Exit the editor. This time it'll let me go because I hit the right button. All right, so our piece is built and saved now, and here's all the cool stuff I can do with that piece. All right, we just built this. Maybe I'm taking a stack of these around and I'm walking through the neighborhood. Maybe I'm sending this out to my Bonnie Bray database. Maybe Al is handing these out at his store for repeat and referral business for him, and those people are getting a little glimpse at me and what I do, right? So whatever scenario works for you guys. Remember, we built this piece. We can go back and edit it. We can print it ourselves. We can order it professionally printed. We can email it. We could add it to a campaign if we wanted to and build our own campaign. Heck, I could build this Bonnie Bray Business of the Month for a whole year in advance, build a campaign around it, and then just drip it out to my Bonnie Bray neighborhood, and those folks are going to get that. They're going to expect that once a month from me from that point on. So kind of cool that you can use the system to market to these businesses. And then if you've got some people that you want to do business with, either in this co-branded scenario or as a referral base, you can build the pieces for that within the system as well. I do want to show you how to post this to your website. I don't remember if I did that last week, but I consider this a lead generating tool at this point. So I'm going to show you how to add this to your website. So I'm going to click Post to Website. And I know I showed you this because I remember going through these scenarios. I've got these 3 links now, right? Really all these links are going to do is expose this piece to the person who clicks on the link. So if I'm in like Craigslist or my own website, in most cases I can do this cool looking button where I can post it and it'll say view my greeting card, or in this case we probably wanted to say a postcard. So I would click here and I would say view my postcard, submit, and now it says that. Or I can do it in an editable text link, so I can choose it here and it can say, Bonnie Bray deal of the month, right? So that's what the link looks like now, and somebody clicks on that and the postcard comes up for them. Or if I want to post it like on Facebook, my Facebook fan page, I'll take this plain link and generate that. In fact, I left my Facebook open so we can do that, so you guys can see what that looks like. And forgive me, I don't remember if we did that last week, and if we didn't, I'd be remiss in not showing it to you. And if we did, I hope it bears repeating. What it's doing is creating this link for me now that I can copy. I'm going to go to my Facebook page now, but I don't want to be on my regular Facebook page. I want to be in my business page for John's Realty Shop. And again, this isn't published. This is a fake page that I created. So I want to go to my wall, and I want people to see this piece, right? I want them to get this value out of this. So I'm going to take that link. I'm going to post it in here, paste it in here. I'm going to attach that link to my wall now, and I want to. Just putting this link here is going to tell people absolutely nothing, right? So I need to describe it. So I'm going to write John's, Bonnie Bray deal of the month. And again, if people are following you, they're getting used to looking for this, they're waiting for this, and I post this. Number one, everybody that's following me, they're getting an email right now that's or a message that I just posted something new. They're going to see this, or they come visit my page here. So John's Realty Shop says John's Bonnie Bray Deal of the Month, and then the viewer clicks on this. Bango, they've got a coupon, right? So you're kind of running your own little Groupon thing here, and you're helping out your friend Al at the dry cleaners. He's helping you out on the backside, and you're helping yourself out, hopefully, immensely, because they get to see this now. And they can print this. The viewer that was just on my Facebook fan page can print this coupon and take it into Al's Dry Cleaners. And again, you're going to make something prettier and something that makes a lot more sense than this. But I hope that you think that that's a cool idea. And again, I realize that I'm not, shattering the earth here with any of this stuff, but I hope you're thinking a little bit more about using MarketAdvantage for this kind of thing, whereas maybe 5 weeks ago you weren't, because I think it's important to utilize all of these aspects. Now again, this web post is part of the upgraded package. My favorite part of the upgraded package is this web post, because you can do this with it. You can do so much more cool stuff by web posting. Remember, you can post things. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go back to the start. I'm going to go back to the Today screen. You can post as a lead generating tool a couple of things. Campaigns. In fact, that'd be a good scenario. Let's do that. So we'll go to the campaigns again, and we'll go back to our campaign that we built. But let's pretend, okay? Let's pretend this isn't the campaign directed at the business owners anymore. Let's pretend that it's the campaign that we talked about building for the Bonnie Bray Business of the Month, right? But it's all 12 months. So my deal of the month, right? So this time I want people to be able to see that on my Facebook fan page or my website, and be able to sign up for it and just enroll in that campaign now. And that's not going to work, actually, because it's a direct mail campaign. So let me pick an email campaign. All right, so let's ignore that this is a single female homebuyer campaign, and let's say this is my sign up for John's Bonnie Bray Deals of the Month, right? So we're going to go Bonnie Bray Deals of the Month. We're going to go campaign post, and we're going to be back to those three scenarios. Well, what's this post going to look like? Is it going to be a button? Can't do that on Facebook. Is it going to be a custom text link? I'm pretty sure Facebook won't let me do that either. So we're going to do that plain link again. Now, we're a little bit different here, and follow along. Instead of them being able to see something on demand, they're going to be able to sign up to receive these deals from you. So you really are kind of running your own little Groupon kind of thing here now. So I'm going to have people sign up using a plain link again, just like we did. But this time when they sign up, they're going to enroll, and I'm going to add them to a group. I'm going to add them to my Bonnie Bray group. Right? So they're going to become a lead for me. They're automatically going to be grouped in the right place. Or I could even create a new group, and name it whatever I wanted to if that wasn't available yet. But Bonnie Bray's fine. We'll leave it there. Do I want a notification email? Heck yes, I want a notification email. So when somebody does sign up for this campaign, I'm going to know about it right away. So let's go ahead and generate that link. Copy that. Go back to my wall, right? And we're going to do that same process. Link, paste that new link in there. I'm going to attach it. Now here I'm going to have to get a lot more descriptive, right? So, and you're going to write probably a much more comprehensive description than me, but basically you want people to know that they can, register to receive discounts from, gosh, John, from your Bonnie Bray retailers. Okay. And spelling, there we go. And we'll post that one now. And again, you're going to write something probably, explain the program a little bit more, those kind of things. But now this is different. Okay, this post is different. When the viewer comes to my Facebook fan page, they click on this link, they're going to be allowed to enroll in this campaign. So we're going to call this guy, let's say it's Pappy Bowington, right? Pappy Bowington comes to my, sorry guys, I had to leave my email open so you could see this stuff. Pappy Bowington visits my website. It registers. He enters, at a minimum, you can see the red fields here, his name and email address. I'm going to use my email address just so we can see how this looks from both sides. He's going to acknowledge that, hey, he's going to get stuff from me, Mr. John Jones. And that's it. He hits submit. Pappy gets a confirmation right away. He's signed up. Hey, he's psyched. He's going to start getting these Bonnie Bray retailer deals from me. I'm going to close that. I just got an email. I'm going to show you that. I know I showed you these last week, but I think it's cool. I just got an email. Actually, Pappy just got this. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. Pappy just got this email as well from me, right? This is all coming out of my my profile that says, thanks for signing up, right? And then here's the campaign that we had set up before. And in a few seconds here, I should get the one that says Pappy's been added to my my database. So pretty cool stuff there. If we do nothing else now, Pappy's going to start getting those deals from me on an automated basis now for the next 12 months because I took the time to build this campaign with these coupons in there, and all he had to do was visit me on my website or my Craigslist ad or wherever. So that's web posting for campaigns. So I think that's cool because it gives people the opportunity to sign up for that. I hope it makes more sense sort of seeing it in practice there than describing it. That's why the web post is my favorite part of the upgrade package. Now, as a review, the upgraded packages are available. You guys all get the essential package, which allows you to do everything you've seen except for the stuff that we're talking about really today, which is web posting and then building your own campaigns. But you've always been able to email. You've always been able to do direct mail. You've always been able to self-print, the e-newsletter, access to the marketing materials, and then those kind of things. So in the upgraded package, you get a higher email limit, and you're able to basically edit your campaigns and post online like we saw here. So I think it's worth the upgrade there if you think that these are valuable and viable ideas for you. If you don't even have a Facebook fan page for your business, then no need to jump into that stuff. Take it at your own pace, and as you learn about those things and decide whether they're good for your business or not, you'll be able to do these other kind of things and see if they're a value hit for you. So that was kind of a review of last week, this last part here, but I think it's an important way to show you the differentiation between the two. I can post a piece for people to see, or I can post a link for people to sign up on. But if you guys are doing that, if you guys are getting Groupon stuff, in fact, I think one popped in while I was talking, like Living Social Escapes, right? I get this stuff constantly in my email. It's become part of our social psyche, right? So I just got this one. This is not from our system. This is from Living Social. But people love getting deals. I love getting this stuff every day. I usually don't open them, right? Because I can see in the little subject line, I'm not going to Vail. I'm in no hurry to get to Vail. But the point is I get used to seeing them. And when something does pop up here that I'm interested in, hey, discounted rates at Al's Dry Cleaners, I go to Al's Dry Cleaners. I'm definitely going to open that. So I think that's a cool way to go about that too. Now remember, there's nothing that precludes you. I'm going to go back to my my account here. There's nothing that keeps me from, if I don't have the web post capability and I don't have the campaign capability, there's nothing that keeps me from going to the marketing materials, to my saved pieces, and let's say it's, the 5th of every month. I go to my saved pieces and I go to postcards and I send out the coupon of the month, right? I can just click on this and I can do my own little email blast. And who's this going to go to? Well, I'm sending this to everybody in my Bonnie Bray group, right? So I can do this myself. I can fully automate this and just write it. And here it is, John's Bonnie Bray deal of the month, or whatever you want that to be. Gosh, my typing is horrible today. And then I can write a whole paragraph here if I want to, and then I can send this piece. And it won't send to those two because they've been unsubscribed. That's kind of neat. I don't know if I showed you guys that or not. This is what happens when you try to send something to someone who has unsubscribed from the system. It just won't let you do it. So you cannot accidentally email to someone that has unsubscribed. So I told you before, that takes care of it for you. That's the way it looks. So again, we just emailed those. This is my notification that the email has gone out, that they're getting ready to go out. And in a second here through my inbox, you're going to be able to see both sides of that. Again, the agent side of it and the recipient side of it, and how that looks. So I think if you're on board with me about our scenario, that there is some value in looking at businesses and people that you run across on a daily basis, or maybe it's a weekly basis, that you ought to be considering as a lead source. And I don't think we've done anything really heavy-handed here. I think it's a pretty easy way to kind of ease into those relationships or expand those relationships to, you know what, it's crazy for us not to be trying to do some business together. And in this last scenario, or last part of it that I showed you, it doesn't have to cost you anything extra, right? So here's my email confirmation that I sent those out. This is the agent side of it. This is John Jones, the agent, seeing that I sent my Bonnie Bray deal of the month to 2 people. Here's what it looked like to the recipients. They received it just like they did when they clicked on it online out of the campaign post. So I think that's pretty cool. So there's nothing wrong with, hey, marking down your calendar. Hey, John, send out your deal of the month today. It's the 5th. And then do it. Send out your deal of the month. So I think it's cool. You don't need the upgraded package to do that kind of stuff. And by the way, they get this from you, and they can still connect with you on your Facebook efforts and all those other good things. So they might see something else of value there. I think this is neat. I hope it, again, if nothing else, you might say, John, you got a screw loose and you're way off base. I get that. In fact, I get that more often than I'd like to say. But the point was here not to necessarily copy exactly what I said, because I know that it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. But if it gets you thinking a little bit, gives you something extra to do, to hopefully, if it gets you one more deal a year, because you're doing this little extra effort, that's awesome. If it gets you 10 more a year, that's really awesome. If it helps fill in the lulls, you've got the valleys and the peaks. If it helps bridge that valley, I think that it's worth experimenting with. And again, it doesn't have to cost you anything more. Email is awesome, and there's a lot of value in that, especially today with the advent of Groupon and daily deals and those kind of things. So that's pretty much it. I understand that today is kind of a review of all the skills that we've learned. I hope you are able to walk away from not just today's lesson, but the whole series and say, hey, I learned something cool about MarketAdvantage. I'm happy if all of you were able to get your e-newsletter started and maybe get a campaign going out automatically to people. And if you picked up a couple extra ideas along the way, I'm good with that too. Let me know. Feedback is great for me because I do these trainings for real living in different regions across the country. And if I'm way off base, let me know. I've got a thick skin about that stuff, and I'm really just doing this to help. So if it's not helping, I want to know about it. So you guys have been pretty good about feedback to this point, so don't hold back on me. Again, that's the end of our series. Amanda will be sending out links to all 5 of the sessions that we've had as a follow-up to you. I'm sure we'll see each other again, hopefully before the spring, but probably in the spring when we start doing another round of trainings, and we'll have some different classes available and things like that. You guys have been great. I don't see any more questions coming through, so I'm going to go ahead and let you have your Monday afternoon back. And I really appreciate you spending the last 5 weeks, at least an hour of your last 5 weeks with me, and looking forward to next time. And happy marketing to you. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye. It's not easy being awesome.